Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Sawyer from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this is going to be episode 65 for you guys. This week it's just going to be a solo episode, just your host only this week. This episode is going to be coming on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's dive into the episode. Coming right off the bat, I have an NFL topic that opened the show. So I will be sharing my top 5 wide receivers heading into this NFL season. I think I made a pretty good list. So at 5, I have Stefan Diggs. I believe Stefan Diggs is one of the best route runners in the National Football League. I believe he's in the best route runners in that conversation with the likes of Devonte Adams, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen. I think he's in that elite conversation when you talk about the best route runners in the National Football League. He's also a great possession receiver and a great deep threat receiver. He can get it done any way he gets his hands on the ball. I'm expecting a big year from Stefan Diggs. We know how special his year was, his first year when he got traded from the Vikings to the Bills in 2020. Ever since then, the connection between himself and Josh Allen has been absolutely spectacular to watch on a weekly basis, and especially when it matters most in the playoffs. So, Stefan Diggs had a bit of a drop-off year in 2021. He had less yards than he did in his 2020 campaign with the Bills Mafia, and had less touchdowns last year in the 2021 season compared to the 2020 season. I am expecting a big year out of him. I think him and Gabriel Davis are going to be one heck of a tag team duo at the wide receiver position this year for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm expecting a big year for Stefan Diggs. I think a lot of attention. A lot of the DBs are going to give Gabriel Davis a lot of attention on the outside. Not saying he's going to be the number one wide receiver for the Bills, obviously. But I'm saying it's going to take a lot of defensive attention away from Stefan Diggs. And I think it's going to be a cohesive duo out there for the Buffalo Bills this year. I'm expecting a big year for Stefan Diggs. At 4, this was a toss-up between 4 and 3. You guys are obviously going to see who I put at 4 and who I put at 3 in a few moments. But this was not an easy decision to rank them at 4 and 3. But at 4, I have Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is truly an absolute stud at the wide receiver position. Not trying to bring out my biasness or anything, but just bringing this up since Jalen Reagor just got traded to the Minnesota Vikings the other day. I am so happy that the Philadelphia Eagles passed up on Justin Jefferson in the 2020 draft to get Jalen Reagor. It makes me so happy that he's not a part of the Philadelphia Eagles and I don't have to hate him. But Justin Jefferson is truly a stud at the wide receiver position. He's great on the outside and plays great in the slot. A great playmaker who does great things with the ball in his hands. And he gets a lot of yak yards. For you guys that don't know yak yards, that's a lot of yards after catch yards. This man is absolutely spectacular. Where you give him on the ball, running short routes, shallow routes, medium routes, deep routes. Even if you hand him the ball on a jet sweep, he's going to do his thing running the damn ball. He's truly a stud at the position. He's a physical wide receiver for his size as well and does really good against press coverage. I looked at the tape of how he did against press coverage last year in the National Football League. I'm talking about the best DBs that the NFL has to offer. He did one heck of a job against press coverage last year. He's truly special, can get it done any which way. And I think in this new Vikings offense, the way how they ran the offense last year, I think this is going to be the way that they run the Vikings are going to run the offense this year. The offense ran through Cooper Kupp last year in LA with the Rams. I think it's going to be the same thing in Minnesota. The offense will run through Justin Jefferson. They will design so many plays for him to touch the ball, end arounds, jet sweeps, and more screen pass. Anything to get Justin Jefferson involved, I think he's going to have a really big year. I think Justin Jefferson really can take off this year and prove why he is one of the top receivers in this league. He already has, but I'm talking about in the top 3 conversation after this season. I think he's on a campaign. He might be on a campaign to have a 1,300 yard this season. So I'm looking forward to what Justin Jefferson can do. At 3, I have Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar Chase, in my opinion, has earned the right to be a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League and heading into his 2nd season. This man has been an absolute stud since his LSU days, and he carried straight off to the National Football League when he got reunited with his college quarterback, Joe Burrow, in Cincinnati. In my opinion, I believe he had the best rookie season in NFL history, having over 1,400 yards receiving and 13 touchdowns last season. You can't get any better than that coming in as a rookie in the National Football League. The Bengals had a lot of question marks in the 2021 draft where they could have went offensive lineman or with a skill position. Obviously, they made the best choice, took the best player available on the board, and never looked back since. You had Jamar Chase, that's coming off the best rookie season, in my opinion, in NFL history at the wide receiver position. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off last year. He's a big body receiver for his size. He's only 201 pounds, but he can make highlighting plays in the air, making big play abilities like he has the size of a Terrell Owens or a Jerry Rice. A big frame wide receiver, but the man's only 201 pounds, and he does his thing at going up for the ball. I like it. I like his game, and I think he's going to pick up right where he left off last year. Could see his yardage go down just a tad bit. I think defenses might send him more double team looks and everything. But I'm just looking forward to these wide receivers. I just only named 3, but Jamar Chase is going to have a good year. And number 2, it's Cooper Kupp. If you had Wes Welker and Julian Edelman combined into one player, especially those 2 players were in their respective careers, if you would combine those 2 players together, you would have Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is an outstanding wide receiver. His route running is elite. I just named him with the receivers I believe that are the best route runners in football. In my opinion, he's the second best route runner in football. He's elite. Mixed with his speed, it's nearly impossible for the defenders to play against him in any coverage, zone coverage, man-to-man coverage. It's hard to play against Cooper Kupp. He's nearly unstoppable. And his run blocking skills do not get talked about enough. I know the Rams were known for passing the ball the way Cooper Kupp had his season last year, the way Matthew Stafford balled out with the Rams last year, throwing over 40 touchdowns last year. But the Rams running game did not get talked about last year as much as it was due to the fact that Cam Akers was hurt and didn't come back towards the end of the season. So they had a running back committee going on in LA. But if you look back at the tape at Cooper Kupp run blocking, he was actually spectacular for his size at 1. And I believe he was the best run blocker in the National Football League last year. So if you guys aren't familiar with how good Cooper Kupp is run blocking, look at the tape. He can make highlights of his own just run blocking. Absolutely had the best year, in my opinion, in history at the wide receiver position in NFL history in a single season. And I'm talking about how special Calvin Johnson was in the 2012-2013 time zone when he had that absolutely spectacular year with the Detroit Lions. I think Cooper Kupp topped that year. He was had a triple crown season last year. 145 catches, 1,900 yards receiving, and 16 touchdowns. That's absolutely spectacular. I think that's the best receiving year in NFL history. Had a triple crown season. I don't think anybody's topping that for a long, long time. And I think his production level is going to drop just a tad bit because of how special he is, and we don't know how special. We know how special Allen Robinson is going to be, but will he be able to take all the defensive attention away from Cooper Kupp the way Odell Beckham slowly did when he first came in with the Rams? I don't know. Time will tell. But I think he's going to have a little bit of drop-off here. Cooper Kupp will still be special this year. And at 1, I have Devonte Adams. Now, Devonte Adams is the best receiver in football. As special as Cooper Kupp is, there's no way that one season defines consistency for Devonte Adams. If you were to create an NFL wide receiver from scratch or on Madden, a creative player, you would end up with Devonte Adams. He is so special at the wide receiver position. Best route runner in the National Football League, hands down. He's spectacular. I just named all those spectacular route runners. Nobody runs routes better than Devonte Adams. I can't even describe it. Like, he's so special running routes, and it makes defenders look silly. No matter if you're impressed, no matter how you line up against him, he knows exactly what he's going to do to you by just staring at you. That's how special Devonte Adams really is. He's been consistent throughout his whole entire career. in the National Football League. His ability to dominate defensive backs with his quickness and beat them off the line of scrimmage is truly special to watch on a weekly basis. And it's been a pleasure to watch Devonte Adams grow as an NFL wide receiver in this league. And if people are saying that the only reason why Devonte Adams has been consistent as he's been in the National Football League is because Aaron Rodgers has been his quarterback, you don't know what you're missing out on watching a player. I think he will be just fine after being traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, I should say, this NFL offseason. A change at the quarterback position will not affect his production this year. Him and Derek Carr were college teammates. They have the chemistry down packed. It's been a long time since the connection has been going, but I think the connection is going to be as special as it was with Aaron Rodgers and Devonte Adams. I think Derek Carr will treat his former college teammate just fine, and they will have one heck of a season together. So that the production for me is not going to drop, but that's my top 5 list at the wide receiver position heading into the season. Again, at 5, I have Stefan Diggs. At 4, I have Justin Jefferson. At 3, I have Jamar Chase. At 2, I have Cooper Kupp. And at 1, I have Devonte Adams.